Welcome to Mind Blown. Today we're going to be doing a Python tutorial.
So, today we're going to do Python introduction, explore features of Python, explore how to download Python, and then we will learn about some Python add-ons. What is Python? Well, it's a programming language. It's used in many ways. You can do it right from a file and output into a Python shell, or program it directly into the shell, and the shell is like it's like an outputter. It just runs the code. Anyway, it's got many add-ons, and Python's easy to learn. So, features. It's object-oriented programming. If you don't know what that is, we'll talk about it later. It's got many kinds of loops. The Python shell, you can run it from a terminal. It's got a lot of debugging capabilities. It's really easy to learn, and it's easy to type it really fast because there's no weird characters. So, downloading Python. You can go right from python.org and click the download button. There's a lot of operating systems that you can use. You can add it right to VS Code, which is a really good open source programming platform, and I use it. I'll be using it later in this video, and it's open source, so it's free. Python add-ons, Pygame, which is like open new windows and you can run games, characters move, all that good stuff. Tkinter is the same sort of thing, except it's not so much games, it's more like, pretty stuff. Anyway, NumPy is really good for advanced math. Python imaging library, or Pillow, it has a whole bunch of images, and you can add just any image you really want. And yeah, so let's get programming. So, welcome to Visual Studio Code, where we're going to be learning Python. So, first thing we're going to learn today, we're going to be learning print, and we're going to be learning variables. But obviously start with print. So print, what is print? Print is a function that outputs whatever is in these parentheses, except if you're doing text, or string as we call in coding, you have to put these single quotes around it. So if I do this, print this stuff, then guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? Yeah, okay, just did that. You can say anything you want in here, even weird characters that, anything you want. I will tell you how to make those characters in another video. This is not what this is about. But just to prove that it works. Boom. Okay. So, print. Also, you can do multiple strings at once as long as you put plus in between both things you want to. You want to print. So I've got this string, and I want to add space afterwards, and I want to add hello. So what will happen is I'll save it, and then I'll run it, and then it does this. So if you're new to coding, one thing you always have to remember to do: save your programs before you run them. So when I didn't save it, it just did what I did before. It didn't. So once I saved it though, it switched it to that. So now more print stuff. You can also print numbers, and those don't have to be in quotes. You can just print 5 because 5 is a value, and it will print the number 5. Printing a string 5 will do the same thing, except it has a slightly different meaning. So if you put it in quotes, it's saying print the text 5. It's just saying print this symbol. If you say just print 5 without quotes, then saying print this value. If you're slightly different, it'll have the same output though. It's just a different meaning. So, yeah. Also, if you're printing numbers without strings, watch, if I do print 5 plus 3, what'll happen is it won't do 5 and then 3. It won't basically like say 53. What'll happen is it will print 8. You know why? It's because these are values. So it's printing the value 5 plus 3. But if I do this, then it will go print 5 then print 3. Very different. Also, another thing you can do with print is you can print multiple times, which gives you multiple lines. So now I'm going to get 53 and hello in different lines. So, yeah. Now that you know a little about print, we can talk about variables. So variables, if you don't already know what they are a name that is assigned a value. So, like, in some languages, a variable is more like a bucket that holds a substance, which is the value. But in Python, it's more like the value is given a name. See what I mean? It's a little bit different. So let's say we put variable a equals 1. So now, if we print a, print the value a. See, now we don't have to put quotes around this because this means print the value a, and a refers to 1. So that means we're printing whatever a is, which is 1. So we print 1. So it would be different if I put a string around here, then it would print a. So now let's say, I mean, you can have more different variables, like you had b equals 2, c equals 3. You don't actually need those though. Also, variable names don't have to be just one letter. They could be like, they can also have like underscore and capital letters. And it doesn't really matter. They're all the same. It's just one thing you never want to do is start a variable name with a number. You can't start a variable name with a number. You can have a number in the middle, but you cannot have a variable name that's like 1D. Then it's red here, and if I run it, it gives me an error. So another thing you can do with the variables is you can assign two variables, the same value, it doesn't matter, because it's just e equals 4. It's not invalid syntax. And if we print a plus d plus e, what we're going to get is 1 plus 2 plus 4, which obviously, if you know any math, is 7. But first it printed a. Happens a equals 1, print a, so it printed a is 1, then d equals 2, e equals 4, then it printed a plus d plus e, which is 7. It printed 1, then it printed 7. So, you can also assign like variable b equals d. You can, and since d is 2, then that means b is equal to 2. And then you can print b, and it will print whatever d is, which is 2. But you know what's even cooler? So if I reassign d equals 1 now, well, b will stay the same because b was assigned up here, and d refers to 2, which means b is referring to 2. B is not the variable d now. B refers to what variable d refers to, which is 2. So it's basically saying b equals 2 here. This assigning, you could just like assign the same value. You could say b equals 2 and it wouldn't change anything. But it is useful when you have like loops and stuff, which we'll talk about in later videos. But yeah, so for now, this is what we've got. Also, with variables, you can assign this. It doesn't matter. You go d minus e. Then if we run this, it goes 1, 11, 2. Yeah. So you can also assign variables like string values, like that, and so then if I print d, what will happen is it'll print that. So that is an introduction to variables and print. But there's obviously a lot more to Python than this, but this is a good introduction. But before you go, number 1, make sure to like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. And number 2, I've got a challenge for you. See if you can figure out everything that this will do. So, I'm going to pause the video in 3. No, I'm not going to pause. I'm going to skip ahead in 3, 2, 1. So, skipped ahead. Now pause this video right now and see if you can figure out what this will do. And now that you've unpaused again, I'm going to save it and run it, and if you get it right, congratulations. So, the output was BB, next line A, next line 2, next line B, space, what's up? So, if you got that right, congratulations. If you did not, congratulations on watching this video, because now you got me one more view. And make sure to like the video. Subscribe to my channel if you want more Python tutorials. If you're still confused about variables and print function, you can leave a comment, but and I might explain some stuff to you. But for now, peace out, bro.